Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and the aristocracy and the money-making profiteers that have crashed both of my computers this morning. Yeah, I just want you to register that once again, when I discovered a family called Schroder, who have a shield exactly the same as the Rothschilds, but they claim to be English originally. Yeah, there they are. That is there's the man standing with his hand inside his jacket pocket, like all of the stories I've told you about Napoleon with the hand on the wallet, and Wellesley Wood, yeah, the man who is the Duke of Wellington with the hand on the pocket. Yeah, this one is www.schroders.com/en for England. Yeah, their story to tell, /about-us/our story. When I clicked on it on that computer, yeah, after having played it on that computer, this computer is now totally crashed. I cannot even get the screen to come onto. So that says there I'm in the middle of taking my graphics options output onto that computer there. Yeah, which you can see is either in that mode or is in that mode. Yeah, for my DVDs and my video players, and I can play them openly because there's no secrets on them. Yeah, that one's my PC. Can you see that? PC up in the top corner. Okay, that says output to. The next one, which is half open and has been completely frozen, says graphics options, and when I say output to and click on it, nothing happens now. Since I discovered the Schroders, SCHRODER, 600 of them on the British Business Register alone. Yeah, the reason I got there is because Miss Manningham-Buller, yet the head of MI6, the head of MI5 for a time, the head of University College London, Imperial College London, the imperialist institution that takes British activities all over the globe, yeah, and the woman that appears in the supermarket who doesn't speak to me because I say she's just quite a good looking woman. Yeah, she is on dozens of directorates. She's a director still at the Wellcome Trust. That's Henry Wellcome, that brutalised all of Africa, took all its treasures back to Euston Road in London, and that is where Richard Chang was killed in the Stephen Hester mob, yeah, by the banking elites. Okay, so can you see why they've crashed my computer? The company that we're talking about here, that is the founder member, yeah, with his hand on his wallet in London, yeah, in inverted commas, with the Rothschild shield, looking exactly the same as it did when they were in Frankfurt. Okay, and this is run out of Cheapside in London. It's right in the heart of the Babylonian buildings that all of these financial fraudsters have created. Okay, last night I was looking into the history of BlackRock. They have got hundreds of companies, and the directors are not named now. All of them are fraudulent companies, but the directors on this lot, yeah, I've screen captured all of them. There's Carlo Schroder. Okay, this is a video that I've watched this morning on this computer on that chair, and when they discovered that I had now discovered that Schroders is the same icon as the Rothschilds family, and they have now merged with a company called Casanova, which is all over the free publicity at the Duke of Roxburgh's 3-day event. Okay, and all of that has crashed all of my computers totally irreversibly, and I cannot tell you any more of the story until I reboot them. Okay, I just want you to know what Rebecca Brooks does, and I want you to know that Miss Manningham-Buller is on the trust the Schroder's Trust, yeah, with other people named Lees, like the people that have banned me from the Black Swan pub. Yeah, and all of it happens in my own living room with no privacy, no capacity to do my honest job on behalf of our once great nation. Yeah, and all of the great nations have gone down the Swanee. When you look for Schroders, you get little movie clips. Their massive empire has gone transatlantic into New York, like all of the business frauds have done, which is why all of the crashes of my computers, since I started to talk about Donald Trump and all of his interests, yeah, these are now the religious jokes. So what the Schroders fund is the BaHa'I movement in Liverpool. Have you heard of Liverpool in a yellow submarine training of Hitler Rothschild context before? Yeah, and the enslavement of the whole of the world by the profiteers that are trained in Tavistock, that are trained in the West Country, that are trained in the special mind control institutes in St. Petersburg in Russia. Yeah, that was Stalingrad before they killed 1.5 million people in it. Yeah, and they then change it to the false religious man that is St. Petersburg. It's absolutely ruthless, which is why the only thing that they can do is keep shutting down the truth. Okay, so what was I going to tell you about them? So that is the joke about Liverpool. And do you get the BaHa'I religion? Yeah, that is the sheepish kumbaya, kumbaya, me lord, the joke at God's expense. When I discovered it all, the sun came pouring down, and the blue skies were beautiful and angelic. Yeah, you only got half of that story told, and I need the images to show you that this is another New World Order religion, and it takes you right into Constantinople and the spark points for every great conflict. Yeah, that is the Anianici liberated to go west into Ireland, Scotland, and all of the jokes about the Paisley Abbeys and the sectarian violence. Yeah, this is the joke that goes east. Yeah, and it's linked to the elephants in all of the stories. That's the links are rather loose through my hometown, but Tom Weatherston's brother is a man called Baber. That's his nickname. Yeah, and he's the false socialist, yeah, that would not represent me during the sectioning threat, and his cousins and brothers have been all over me walking along the streets of my hometown because they're ever so apologetic now for what they've done. Yeah, that's my only contact to the Borders Council, is through Dean Henderson, who is, I think, the nephew of Councillor Tom Henderson, Tom Weatherston, who was a socialist, but now, because it's the only way you can get elected, he's become a conservative and a traitor to the union movement. Yeah, and even to the right-wing Labour movement. Yeah, that's Tony Blair's movement, and he launched all of this under Murdoch's thrall. Okay, so the story is tragic because it is the launch of all of the false religions in the Far East. Yeah, that is Babar the elephant, all of the comedies and cartoons on the telly about Alibaba, yeah, all of the Islamic menace, and all of the current activities in the terror all around the world. Everywhere I report some financial services fraud like this one. This is a massive London-based company, and they are in the streets that are named. So one of them is Grosvenor Street, and one of them is in the man in the space film from America is called Grisham. Yeah, and they are in Grissom Road in London, right next to, I think it's east to right in the heart of that Babylonian city for fraud, and they then had to move to New York when Britain went to war with Germany twice. Yeah, and all that I've discovered last night is that the Kuhn and Loeb companies are also Rothschild launches, and that is the companies that they eventually, thanks to Andrew Carrington Hitchcock and his French connections, they have revealed that the Kuhn and Loeb Bank is just the launch of the Rothschilds in America. It becomes the Federal Bank in America, and none of the Federal Bank has ever published any of its accounts. In the old days when that was written by Andrew Carrington Hitchcock, that's at least 10 years ago now, the income from the Federal Bank, one of the 26 federal banks that my friends in Minnesota have told me about, yeah, openly declared that they now have 26 fraud vents run by the Rothschilds ever since John F. Kennedy was killed. Yeah, and you can see what Rebecca Brooks is paid to do. Yeah, I still cannot project anything onto my computer screen to make that video, and I don't want to get hum on it. So I'm going to stop now, reboot everything, and then I will tell you the whole story when I have the pictures to show. This video, when I tried to play it, yeah, is no longer available on that new computer. So I played it there, and when I reopened it on here, and immediately after I took the lead out so that I could play the video on the big screen, so that my monitors in the surveillance team, which include the local council run by Tracy Logan and Tom Weatherston and all of the people that trained me, and the Huttons, yeah, I've told you about them. They were the council, elected council leaders. They are massive banking fraudsters too. Yeah, I did not discover that until last night, and I have not even archived that on my computers yet. They are linked into Miss Manningham-Buller, that's Deirdre Hutton, and all of the healthcare frauds, all of the Queen of the Quangos issues that are associated with Deirdre Hutton, and the English speaking people that fuck up the whole of the Scottish freedom context. Yeah, that's all Rothschild appointed. Alex Salomon Rothschild. Yeah, and that's what the skies looked like when I discovered the linkage to another false religion right out of fucking Liverpool, like the slave trade. Right then, so I'm going to switch that off now, and we're going to make a snappy little video. Yeah, and Rebecca Brooks, you get very poorly paid for the work that you do to silence the truth about how the whole world has been stolen. If you want to recommend me as a reference to the fact that you should be paid much more to keep these secrets, I'll be quite happy to oblige. You're one of the few world leaders that does not have the courage to present any contact details on the internet. As the editor of the News Corp empire, and the people that choose all of the prime ministers and presidents that take us always to war, yeah, which was the bringing down of that massive company, yeah, in World War II. Yeah, they dare not run it again under the same titles. Yeah, and Miss Manningham-Buller's on the pension fund management of it. Yeah, that's the trust funds that pay no tax at all, and this is the asset management industry where BlackRock are the masters, and BlackRock were set up once Baroness Blackstone had come into prominence in the crime scene in England. Yeah, BlackRock, the biggest financial enterprise company in the asset stripping world. That's mergers and acquisitions, run from the Empire State in New York, where all of the massive frauds take place. Yeah, and every presidential candidate is a crook. Okay? So that's a little intro to what you're going to find out later on. Yeah, and that video will no doubt be crashed too. So this is why I'm going to stop here and publish this while the going is good. Bye bye. Look at the skies now. Yeah, and my friends are watching it all through all of human history, and they're wide awake now. And when you point the camera at them, it looks just like the BP icon, which is not an accident. Take my word for it. Okay, yeah, and that is the Sun newspaper run by Rupert Murdoch to steal the world this way. Bye.